Subscribe, like and share. Remember to click the bell please. Watch our playlist again so as to grasp the continuous trend of the market and refresh your mind.
Good evening, guten Abend, bonsoir, buenas noches to investors in North and South America. Ohio, investor. 안녕하세요, 各位早晨. Good morning to investors in Asia. Buenas noches, good night to investors in Europe and Africa. I'm Daniel Yu speaking from Hong Kong. It's 2nd January here and 1st January in Wall Street. This week, I have 4 main points to talk about. Number 1 is hot stocks of bear market. Number 2, hot stocks of this month. Number 3, fund flow of RRP. Number 4, current situation and outlook of the market. Dow Jones and S&P has been falling since early January of 2022. And NASDAQ had been falling since November 2021. Even some of the popular and large asset stocks fell over 50%, as that of penny stocks. But in July 2021, I already recommended buying the high dividend stock of Global X NASDAQ 100 Cover Call ETF, QYLD. This one gives a dividend of 20 cents per month non-stoppingly. At that time, you only need 8.6 years and can get back all the money you invested, and the rest in your account is a total profit. In October 2022, when I talk about this again, it only took 5.65 years to get back your capital. And now, if you buy it, it still takes 7.95 years to let the dividends break even with your investment. It's an ETF based upon NASDAQ. During the slump of 2022, NASDAQ stocks dropped most. However, it can be set as a self-defense item that can help you to go through the bear market. So these are the components of their top 25 stocks. Microsoft and Apple occupy the most important 2 places. Therefore, the rise and fall of the quotes stick closely to NASDAQ. It is the only stock where you need not to worry over the fall of the price, for the focus is on the dividend and not on the price. However, please be noted that there's a tax of 30% and the brokerage firm will collect handling charges. For details, please refer to video 2 of 2022-1024. There is one more alternative, the Pennant Park Floating Rate Capital PFLT. Gives out a dividend at a fixed rate of $0.95 per month. It is in another style. While the QYLD ranges from 0.1610 to 0.4993, but on the average is $0.20 in recent years. So it's up to you to choose the fixed rate or flexible rate. But when in comparison, the PFLT dividend is at a ratio of 10.38%, not only higher than the average of the same industry, which is 9.17%, but much higher than the average of the whole stock market of 2.66%. Please refer to video 3 of 2022-1031. So we come to the hot trends of the market, which concerning 2 sectors. First one is inflation, and second one is entertainment. Why did inflation rise so sharp? Because property price is one of the major reasons. Highest inflation rate was just 9.1% in June, but the ARMA residential rate, ARR, has an annual dividend rate of 21.31%, which is higher than the industry's average of 7.18% and market average of 2.66%. It is paid at a fixed rate of $0.1 per month, so that investor can have a better plan for it. Another is AXP Investment Corp, AGNC. The dividend is also paid every month at $0.1, so investor can use them for reinvestment earlier so as to gain extra profit. The dividend ratio is 13.91%, which is higher than the industry's average of 7.18% and market average of 2.66%. As for entertainment stocks, mind that just after the Germany meteor shower of December 13th and 14th, the big winter triangle comes into effect. China announced to give up the zero clearance policy and the quadrant meteor showers peace in early January. China will open the border and let people go out on January the 8th. A lot of countries are trying to restrict the entrance of Chinese people, and their faithful follower North Korea even completely banned the entrance of Chinese people. But Hong Kong, on the contrary, opens freely to let 1.4 billion people to come in. Thus, Hong Kong will act as a crossroad to link up the mainland and the whole world. People are afraid this would bring out the virus variant, but one more point investors should mind is that those people will have retaliation consumption after trapping inside mainland for 3 years. So that VISA, we should be minded, for it is now above the year line of 250 SMA. Please be noted that they are not involved in issuing credit cards. It's individual banks that issue cards using their brand name, and they only run the process of debit and credit. Therefore, the risk is lower. For bad debts are the risk of those individual banks. So in such a case, they are more profitable. However, the American Express, AXP, is the bank that issues credit card on their own and also has to bear the risk of bad debt. But why do people like to buy it? Because Warren Buffett purchased it and put it in the 5th rank of his combination. So if you still believe in this old man of 92 years old, and the past record is to have tremendous profit after 10 to 20 years, hurry up and buy it before the god of stocks goes to heaven to meet the king of football PD and watch the World Cup together. Chinese people are so clever and business-minded and famous for bulk buying of medicine that some drugs in Hong Kong and Japan are sold out, even at the price of several times as usual. They continue to buy for they can make profit on reselling. So related COVID medicine should be minded, such as VISA, PFE is in a nice rising trend. Moderna, mRNA, is also at high. BioNTech Venezuela is the lowest of these three, suitable for conservative investors to buy at low. The fact is that this year a lot of famous and popular stocks fell greatly, like Robinhood, Meta, Tesla, and DWC. How to avoid these traps? Buying ETF is one of the practical methods to disperse and lower the risk. Or you can join our live seminars held in Almaty of March, or refer to our daily report, the US Stock Express, or study our series of 14 teaching videos, or refer to our Telegram group where Professor Retaliation will release latest news there. Lastly, do not forget one of my favorite stocks, which is Boeing Company, BA, where I talk about for years. It can be considered as a traveling stock right for the current time, but they also produce military engines of missiles where the demand is still quite great. So it is rocketing high both for traveling and war purposes. Still, remember in my teaching videos, I told investors to buy even when their engine exploded in the air and prices continue to go up and up and up. As for RRP, already warned of fund flows flowing out in the last video. Now we better have a review when year end comes. Just want to remind you that by the end of each quarter, funds will flow out automatically, such as in September 30th, 2021, the fund is $1,604 billion. December 31st, 2021, the fund cap is $1,904 billion.
March 31st, 2022, the fund cap is $1,871 billion.
June 30th, 2022, the fund cap is $2029 billion. On September 30th, 2022, is the pawn tot mode, which is $2425 billion on bottom of Orion Meteor Showers.
December 30th, 2022, the fund capture is as high as $2553 billion to a record high even higher than September.
As we can expect for the first few days of January 2023, will fall back to the market a bit. So, do you still remember the historic high of S&P is at January 4th, 2022 at 4818, and Dow Jones is at January 5th, 2022 at 36952. That's the reason why. For the current situation of stocks, there's only one point needed to mind. People are worrying whether the market will continue to fall. Just watch the NASDAQ. It is in bear market stage 3 as set in video 7 of 2022-1128. At that time, it's on top of the parallelogram, and this time it's at low of parallelogram, and the strongest support is at 10,000 points of NASDAQ Composite. First of all, we have to view the Ichimoku chart. The index is under the green cloud, which denotes a weak trend. Mind that 20 trading days later, the red cloud also turns into green, which denotes the falling pressure is great at that time. But in recent days, the Tanken Sen purple line has penetrated the Kinjun brown line. It also shows a weak trend, but the Chikou span light blue line is a low of the 3 bottoms, shows support is near. Even price could not have breakthrough of green cloud at the top and made the downtrend more prominent. So the future market must go back to the red cloud to establish a better foundation. As for the future trend, what should the forecast be? Watch this chart of Apple overlaying NASDAQ. The bar chart is the price of Apple, and the line chart is NASDAQ. Apple has the highest weight inside the components of NASDAQ 100, which is 12.26%, but now both merged together. Since September to November, Apple is stronger than the market, but in December weaker than the market, now in break-even point exactly. So that's why we have to watch it. Now we watch the third chart and can see there is a slight red cloud in the Ichimoku, but Apple is now under the Tanken Sen and Kinjun. It denotes the parallelogram of Apple is going to develop into trumpet shape, or Ursa Minor is going to develop into Ursa Major around January 20th, where Saturn meets Jupiter by the moon. The Lunar New Year lies on January 22nd, where the hometown going period will be at the peak in China and also the peak of pandemic. Tesla already announced the super factory in Shanghai will start running for those weeks. The Quadrantids meteor shower on January 4th will bring about turmoil of breakthrough. All this denote there will be a fluctuation of the low of parallelogram and extending the weak trend at low. For this year, the pandemic in China is more serious than January 2020. At that time, only one city, Wuhan, was heavily infected. But now most major cities are infected, but no concrete figures are given. So what we can do is to think for the best, but prepare for the worst. As Charlie Dickens said, it's the best of times, it's the worst of times. It's the spring of hope, it's the winter of despair. So watch carefully and see what will happen next when Saturn meets Jupiter. Sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, adieu, bye bye. See you next week.